I'm Dan Heinze, and I grew up in St. Louis, Missouri, and I grew up and enjoyed science from early years. Geology was my first love. I always wondered what the stories that rocks could tell us, and ended up going into geophysics at Texas A&M and MIT, and then back at A&M. And enjoyed that work and did seismic imaging most of my life. In my early 30s, I went into a couple of months of crisis of faith, partly based on undertow of atheism that came from some of my graduate education, but partly also from immaturity and foolishness, ideas that the Lord had to get out of my mind. I came out of that time by throwing myself at the mercy of Christ and clinging to the faith, that little faith that I had at that point. And then gradually, over months and years, the Lord brought to me ideas and understandings, a better understanding of who I was. Part of the struggle of that time in my 30s was that I was pounding my fist before God, saying, "You must reveal to me so much, and not only must I understand it intellectually, but also emotionally. I wanted to be sure of it." And one of the foolish ideas that was purged out of me at that time was that God just wasn't going to reveal to me everything that I demanded. He wasn't going to reveal that He made the universe, and He made me in such a way that I couldn't hold all of what He made, nor did He make the universe to reveal all of what I wanted it to. And in that lowered expectation and understanding myself, I found freedom in that I had less responsibility, not total responsibility. I mean, not irresponsibility, but I had less responsibility and could relax and enjoy who He made me, and going on the adventure of the unknown that He put before me each day, to both love Him and serve those around me, and enjoy the discovery. And I see just many proofs of, not proofs, excuse me, that's really the wrong word. I see many evidences of that science gives us through about the creation of God, that He truly exists and that He is the God of the Bible, and that there was a beginning, that there was a very special beginning, that the design of the universe in terms of basic parameters, the basic design parameters, the laws, and also the specific unfolding of events, the trajectory of the universe seems to be quite surprising too. And not time to go into detail on those things, but another perspective that's come to me is that the simplest sciences really are physics and chemistry. And the studies like psychology and sociology are so complex that we really can't quantitatively address those. And so God gave us something to do in the hard sciences that we can really quantitatively evaluate. But in the areas that ask questions like, who am I? Who are you? How do we relate to each other? What is our destiny? Those questions are principally answered by God's revelation to us in the Bible, rather than by our own thought and observation and analysis.
Do you have any books that you could recommend on this?
There's a whole range of books that are helpful, some of which I've read, and more of which are on my shelf, which is a typical pattern: buy 5 and read 1. I've appreciated Hugh Ross's books, especially The Fingerprint of God, which I read 15 years ago. I think he's rewritten that, updated it as The Creator and the Cosmos. I think it's a very valuable fine-tuning book. I thought that Michael Behe's The Edge of Evolution is a really helpful book, more on the biology rather than the physics side. There's some non-Christian books that I've read that are helpful in that they have, as from my geosciences background, show the weaknesses of the arguments on the atheistic side, saying that science supports atheism. But I don't really recommend those for the general public. There are a number of other books, and I could name them, but I don't have a coherent list to give you right now.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for your time. I appreciate that.